I should have known the apocalypse was coming the second Patricia Norwood came marching across my xeriscaped lawn like a pastel general leading a crusade. Those bedazzled white Crocs sparkling under the brutal Arizona sun were her war paint. Patty, Saguaro Vista Estates HOA president, self-appointed guardian of community aesthetics, and professional pain in the ass, gripped her iPad like it held the nuclear codes. "Ryan Caldwell," she trilled in that sickly sweet voice, "your boat is a blatant violation of Section 7.2, Paragraph B. No recreational vehicles visible from the street. It detracts from our desert oasis harmony." My 22-foot boat, Desert Freedom, was tucked neatly behind my 6-foot privacy fence. To see anything more than the very tip of the trolling motor, you'd have to be actively spying. Which Patty clearly was. "It's behind a solid fence on my own property, Patty," I said, continuing to coil my garden hose. "You'd need binoculars to complain properly." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "The motor is technically visible from the cul-de-sac, sweetheart. Rules are rules. This is for everyone's property values." 2 days later, the certified letter arrived. $375 fine, approved unanimously by her spineless board. My appeal was rejected in record time. So I did my homework. City ordinances trumped HOA rules on public streets. Any registered vehicle could park for 72 hours straight. Perfectly legal. That Saturday at 7:30 a.m., I backed Desert Freedom up and parked it directly in front of Patty's sprawling 5-bedroom monstrosity, perfectly centered in front of her prized oleander hedges. She burst out the front door in a floral housecoat, curlers still in, coffee mug reading Queen of the HOA, trembling in her hand. "Ryan, have you lost your mind? Move that eyesore this instant." I took my time removing the cover. "Morning, Patty. Just following the rules like a good neighbor. City Ordinance 14-63 allows it. Better here than visible on my own land, don't you think? We wouldn't want to harm those precious property values." Her face achieved a shade of purple I didn't know existed on human skin. "This is harassment. I'm calling the police. Be my guest. I've got the printed ordinance and registration right here. Want a copy?" The police came, took one look at my paperwork, wished me a nice day, and left. Patty stood on her driveway vibrating with fury as I waved cheerfully. I left it there the full 72 hours, then brought it back the next weekend, and the weekend after. Patty took to tending her front yard every Saturday morning in stony silence, shooting death glares at my boat like it had personally insulted her bloodline. I made sure the registration sticker was extra visible. But Petty Patty wasn't finished. New fines started showing up on my door for creating a public nuisance and visual pollution, now $550 each, with not-so-veiled threats of placing a lien on my house. That's when I started knocking on doors. The stories were depressingly familiar. The Ramirez family got fined $800 for unauthorized, drought-resistant landscaping that had been approved 2 years earlier. Old Mr. Henderson was threatened with legal action for flying an American flag that was too large. A young couple down the street had their solar panels cited even though state law protected them. I showed up to their doors with highlighted copies of the actual bylaws. The rage was palpable. We weren't dealing with rules. We were dealing with one woman's addiction to control. When I requested the HOA's financial records and meeting minutes, as required by our charter and Arizona law, the silence was deafening. My attorney sister confirmed it. Secret meetings and unaccounted fines smelled like fraud. I filed complaints with the Arizona Department of Housing and the Attorney General's office. The emergency community concern meeting at the clubhouse drew a record crowd. 45 residents packed the room, people who had never bothered with HOA nonsense before. Patty arrived 10 minutes late, looking like she'd aged 5 years. She took the podium with her fake smile. "We've heard some concerns, and I want to personally assure everyone that the board has only ever acted with the community's best interest at heart." "When were the last board elections?" I called out, standing up. "Bylaws say every 2 years. It's been 4. The room erupted. "Where are the financial reports we requested 30 days ago?" another voice shouted. Patty's smile cracked. "We're working on." I raised my phone. Too late. The state investigation into fraudulent fines and misappropriation of association funds is officially open. They've already requested all your records. Her board members turned on her in real time. "You told us the finances were fine." One hissed loud enough for everyone to hear. "I didn't sign off on half this stuff," the other added, standing up. The petition for a recall election started circulating before Patty could bang her little gavel. By the end of the week, we had more than enough signatures. Patty resigned, for personal family reasons, 3 days later. The investigators didn't resign. They found $31,000 in missing fines and fees funneled through a shell consulting company registered to Patty's sister-in-law. Forged invoices. Altered bank statements. The works. The arrest was beautiful. Handcuffs in her own driveway while neighbors watched from their porches. She was charged with embezzlement, wire fraud, and multiple counts of falsifying official documents. The trial was a public spectacle. When the guilty verdict came down on all counts, the courtroom actually applauded. 18 months in state prison plus full restitution, and a permanent ban from ever serving on any HOA board in Arizona. We rebuilt from the ashes. New board, new rules emphasizing transparency over tyranny. I chair the Compliance Review Committee. No more fines for breathing too loudly. Desert Freedom sits proudly in its new permitted carport now. But sometimes, when the mood strikes, I still hitch it up and park it right in front of the clubhouse, directly beneath our new sign, Saguaro Vista Estates, governed by residents, not rulers. The neighborhood is unrecognizable in the best way. Kids play in the streets. People paint their doors whatever color makes them happy. We have block parties instead of citation wars. Patty's old house finally sold at a significant loss to a nice family from Colorado who have no idea about its notorious history. Good for them. So after all this, I have one question for you. Who is really abusing their power? The man who legally parked his boat to fight back against a bully, or the woman who spent years weaponizing community standards to control and rob her own neighbors? In the end, was it cold, calculated justice? Or just the most satisfying case of karma the desert has ever seen?